Good morning. Welcome back to another weekly vlog. It is actually Wednesday, April 16th. We just got home from Houston yesterday. Whew, I need to take a deep breath before I really start talking about this. If you didn't watch the last weekly vlog, or you don't typically watch them all the way to the end, at the end of the last weekly vlog, I just closed it out because we were getting on a plane. We had lost my father-in-law. So this is something our family has been dealing with for years. He battled multiple forms of cancer over the years that escalated in the last couple of months. You know, I had mentioned that the week that we moved, the week we were moving into our new house, we got some news that week that was tough, and Sam got on a plane very quickly after we moved. He stayed through moving day. I think we got the news Tuesday, and we moved Thursday, and I think Sam left Saturday morning. I don't, honestly, the last couple of months have been an absolute blur, but he's been back and forth to Houston to spend time with his dad and help him with things, help his stepmom with things. And he passed a couple of weeks ago at this point. So we were down there for services and Shiva, and then we already had planned to be down there for Passover, so we just extended, we kept our original Passover flights home that were scheduled for yesterday, since we booked those months ago, and just stayed throughout the whole week, which was nice to be with family and to spend extra time with them. We got to do some cool things. We went to the Children's Museum with Sam's stepmom and Lila. We got to go swimming. We got to see some friends and their kids, and so there was a lot of really beautiful silver linings to the extended stay down there. But I think to some extent we were all happy to be home to our house together, in our routine, our space, our bed, all those things. It's so funny when we stay with Sam's mom, my mother-in-law, and her husband, Sam's stepdad. It's weird to say that because they've only been married a couple years, but he is Sam's stepdad. But it's a queen bed, and once you have a king bed, when you have to share a queen bed, I'm like, why are you in my space? Where's our king size bed? So it was nice to be back in this bed last night. So I let myself take yesterday to mostly just unpack and get settled. I did work a little bit, and ran a community call, but most of yesterday was unpacking, laundry, settling. But I already have a plan made for today. Let me show it to you. All right, so here is my plan for today. I actually can go ahead and check these two things off. I already did these. Lila should be up any minute, and then I will take her to daycare. These are the work things I would like to do today. I do have a pelvic floor appointment this afternoon. I believe I mentioned this in that last weekly vlog, that I started pelvic floor therapy again. The place is right by daycare, which is so nice. So most of my appointments are scheduled for first thing in the morning, close to her daycare drop off. I drop her off and then I go to my appointment. But this week was the only time that I couldn't do it that way, because I couldn't go yesterday. I told why can't I think of the word? The woman who manages the front desk, she is a freaking rock star. Even my therapist was like, yeah, she is so good at her job. But I told her, I said, first thing, Tuesday or Wednesday is what I could do. And so this was the only week she couldn't get me in for that because I couldn't do yesterday. So it really doesn't matter. My point is, I think I'm going to do some of this work at home this morning. Some of it I have to do here. This mail has to get done here. And then I may go to a coffee shop near the pelvic floor therapy / daycare and work a little bit in the afternoon. And then we're having dinner with my family tonight. They obviously miss Lila and want to see us. I also have a bunch of random personal things I need to get done today. I did all the laundry yesterday, but I have not put it away. And then, as you can see, I really need to paint my nails. I need to trim Charlie's nails. And I have a question for the HOA, as well as a handful of things I'd like to vlog about today. But we'll see how much of this I actually get to. I'm going to flip you around and tell you a tip. I can hear Lila in there talking to herself. She's definitely awake. She's fine for 1 second, because I'm going to tell you this tip. I'm really telling it to myself right now. But you've heard me say this before. When you have a routine, any kind of routine, whether it's something that you do consistently, like an AM or a PM routine, whether it's something like a laundry routine or just working in general, being back into regular life, I like to give myself as many days as I was out of that routine to get back into that routine. Now, this scenario is a little bit different because while we were down at my in-laws, I did work a little bit. I didn't have childcare for Lila, so I only really worked before she woke up and during her naps. And I did some routine type things. I mean, it wasn't like a full-blown vacation, right? But it wasn't here at our house. And like getting back into like taking Layla to daycare today. She hasn't been in weeks. So like all of us getting back into our rhythms and routines, which by the way, what day is this vlog goes up? That video went up 2 days ago about systems versus rhythms versus routines. So this ties in really, really well to that. Give yourself time to get back into it. Again, I try to give myself as many days as I was out of it to get back into it. So whatever kinks I run across today, whatever doesn't feel right from a routine standpoint, like it'll work itself out and I'll get back into it. And when I think about the time I spent to build that routine, what is one more week to get myself back into it, right? I hope you understand what I'm saying. We actually did a whole series on routines last year, like a 4-part video series. If you're interested, if routines is a goal that you have and you want to talk about it, learn about it, whatever. So just sorry, I can hear her in there. She's talking in there to her. She has like multiple stuffed animals that she sleeps with. So anyway, and that's my spiel on routines. We'll see what I get done today. Whatever I don't get done, I'm going to give myself a little bit of breathing room. Hi, it's still Wednesday. I'm in a different shirt because I spilled something on my shirt. I wish I could blame it on my toddler, but it was not her fault. She was at daycare and I was having a snack and it was dip and it fell off of the cracker and onto my shirt. So I changed shirts. It's the same day. I don't know why I need all those explanations. Okay, I am going to as quick as I can, update you on first I'm gonna update you on the day and then I'll talk about books. Okay, so I got a good bit of work done. I spent a couple hours, checked some things off, and then I kind of decided if I wanted to go work at a coffee shop, I had time to kind of take a smidge of a break and do one thing here. I could either fold the laundry or paint my nails, and I decided to go with painting my nails. I just did like a very nude, like neutral color. It's a little bit darker, I guess, than a nude, but it's a very neutral color because my nails are super short. I know I've talked about this before. I'm an ex-nail biter. Like growing up, it was bad. I bit my nails super low a lot. And what helped me stop, there's a handful of other things. There's some mindset shifts that helped me stop. But one of the things that really did help me stop biting my nails was keeping them painted all the time. And when I first was like quitting, that meant they were really short. And I always found that when my nails are short, if I do like a nude neutral color, it doesn't bother me. Like I would never do like a bright red on a nail that's short. Like for me, I just wouldn't like the way that looked. But when they're short, I can do like a nude or neutral. And when I first stopped biting them, I was picking a lot. And I picked my nail polish off a lot and I was repainting them constantly. So I would buy inexpensive nail polish because I was biting them all the time, or like picking the nail polish off all the time. Now that I don't do that unless I'm in a nervous situation, which is how they ended up this short. If I am nervous or anxious about something, I will pick my nail polish off and bite my nails. But most of the time, the only one that gets bitten is my right thumbnail. Otherwise, I'm pretty good about keeping off my nails. And so I do invest in a nice nail polish brand called Dazzle Dry. It is pricey, but I love it and it lasts. When I did my nails right before we left for Houston, so at the end of that last vlog, when I closed out that vlog, we were leaving Thursday evening. I closed out that vlog Thursday morning. At some point during that day, our flight got moved to Friday morning. We waited one extra day before we left. And so Thursday night after Lila went to bed, I painted my nails before we left for Houston. There was not a single chip on them until the following Saturday. They lasted 9, which for me, given how like between picking and my daughter and all the things, like the fact that they lasted that long was amazing. And then I had a situation and I picked it off, bit my nails, whatever. So anyway, painted my nails. And now I'm going to talk about books and then we're going to go into the coffee shop. I think in my head, I thought I was going to have more time there, but I was working here instead and that's fine. I also need to, this is just like a rambly mindset chat. I have struggled in the past with being like, well, it's not worth going if I don't have hours on hours to spend. And this is me not taking my own advice, right? Any time is better than no time. I know that at this point, once I chat with you, I get packed up and get there, I probably will have about an hour and a half at a coffee shop before I need to go to my appointment. The amount that I will get done in that hour and a half is still worth going versus coming here. And if I go to a coffee shop that's like on the way, it's not like I'm going out of my way to do it. You know what I mean? Like definitely when I have to talk myself into going and taking the time to go there, but this is not like, I'm going that direction anyway. So anyway, okay, let's talk about books. Okay, I have 5 books to talk about. So I am going to try to not go super in depth, but the whole point of doing book reviews in the vlogs is so that I can be more thorough than I am on Instagram. So I am going to share my thoughts. They are all fiction books. I have not finished a nonfiction since that last vlog. I really need to finish my fiction book this week, or my nonfiction book. God, why do I mix those up so much? My nonfiction book this week during the vlog, because the library is going to take it back in 2 days. And I know so many of you have told me the hack on a Kindle, you can just turn it on airplane mode and the library doesn't take your book back. That doesn't work for an audiobook when it's on my phone. And I got through a lot of fiction in the last couple of weeks because while we were in Houston, I was reading a lot. We would, most nights except for one, we came home when it was time for Lila to go to bed, and sometimes that was later depending on if we were with family or what we were doing, but it was still early-ish, right? That we would come home, we would put Lila to bed, and I would just get in bed and read. And so I did a lot of reading. Sometimes I did do some work, like I mentioned earlier, in the morning before her naps, but I also did a lot of reading because it was a nice escape for me. So now that this rambly intro has turned into a 5-minute clip, let's talk about the first one was, and once again, I'm laughing at myself for dragging this out. All my fiction books, I don't know where the recommendations come from. Some of them come from the Lazy Genius newsletter. Some of them come from, I see people on Instagram. So, and these are the order I read these is at the order they became available at the library. So the first one was Magic for Liars. This one was just okay. I love a mystery. I love when magic is involved. And I was involved in the mystery aspect of it. I wanted more magic. I didn't feel like there was enough magic for a book called Magic for Liars. But it was good. It was okay. And I was kind of like, I think I'm going to give it like a 4. It's kind of how I was thinking about it as I was reading the book. And then the ending, I hated it. Hated the ending. Didn't like it. And immediately dropped it to a 3.5. I was like, the ending was bad. So it was just okay. If you're really into that kind of topic, a mystery and magic, maybe give it a try, but it's not a highly recommend in my book. The next one that I read was called One to Watch, which is a play on The Bachelorette. That's not what this show is called. It's called something else. But it's a play on The Bachelorette with a plus size bachelorette. And I love the premise, even though I don't like to watch those shows. If you listen to my podcast with my sister, I don't watch reality TV. I don't watch Bachelor, Bachelorette, but I loved this. Like, I thought it was so fun. Now, super predictable in my opinion. I totally guessed the ending, but I thought it was really fun. It was a good, like, escape, fun, happy. I want to say feel good fiction. There were definitely parts of it that didn't feel good given the topic and the premise, but it was still a really good book. The next fiction book I have to talk about, I did not finish, and I was really excited about this. So I do love like a fantasy magic world book, and The Night Circus is a book that I love. In fact, I actually read it and devoured it. I remember reading it at my mother-in-law's. Okay, I had to pause the camera for a second, so if the background shifted slightly, that's why. Anyways, devoured The Night Circus, loved it. This book was by the same author. It's called The Starless Sea. So I thought I was also going to love it, and I didn't. I really tried to get into it. Now, I think if it was a different scenario, like I was devouring fiction books and I needed that escape. I think I gave it 10% and I still was not into it. And I was like, I'm done. If it had been a different situation, maybe I would have given it a little bit more time before I decided that I wasn't going to finish it. And so I'm not going to completely delete it from my list. I may give it a try at another time period, point in time, but I did not finish it. I let it go, which reminds me, what's one of the things I like about the other 2 apps. I still haven't made my decision, y'all. I'm still updating 3 book apps, which is so silly. I'm still not going to leave Goodreads because so many of you already follow me there, but I need to decide between Fable and Storygraph. There's things I like about each of them, but updating both is stupid. The biggest thing I like is that I can give half stars, but there's some other like pros, cons in general about each of them. But I like that I can mark did not finish on both of those apps. So that was cool. Okay, the next book I read was called The Promise of Stardust. And this one didn't have a hold at the library. Sometimes I wonder if like the ones that have a hold are going to be better because other people are interested in them too, but it was available immediately. So I grabbed it as soon as I did not finish Starless Sea. This book was good. I think this is a really important topic. Like I actually, when I saw my mom and sister yesterday, immediately told them about it and like wanted their thoughts on the topic. I think it's a really good thought-provoking topic. It can definitely be a triggering one, so I'm not going to go into the details. You can look it up if you're interested. But like the premise is set at the very beginning, and then the rest of it is not as exciting. Like stuff happens, but the book kept me going because I was really interested to know how it ended. I wanted the ending, but I didn't have any like up and downs in the middle, if that makes sense. It is also one of those books that like goes back in time. So you time jump different ways, which I really liked. So I give it a 3.5 on the various apps. So, I mean, it was good. If the topic, I would go read the topic and decide if it's something that you're interested in. One thing I didn't have in my notes, but I just remembered that I wanted to comment on. One to watch, the Bachelorette book. It's really interesting. It's very modern that in the actual writing, there are news articles, there are podcasts, there are text chains with friends, there are group chats. Like there's different forms of writing besides just like the novel itself that are really cool and different. Obviously, if you don't like that kind of stuff, like if you don't want text chains or podcast, not script, what's the word? Like where, you know, the descriptions or the words that were said on the podcast. If you don't like that extra kind of stuff, then I wouldn't read that, but because there's a lot of it sprinkled throughout that book. Okay, last one, number 5, that I stayed up way too late last night reading is what it is a Frida McFadden book. If you haven't heard of Frida McFadden yet, she does like thriller kind of books. I read oh my God, what's it called? The Maid? Housemaid? I think is what it's called. I read the first 2. I haven't read the third one yet that just came out. But this was a different like standalone one of hers called Never Lie. So good. Totally gripped. Totally like into it. Like I really want it. Like I said, stayed up way too late last night finishing it. I thought I had guessed the twist. We were literally on the plane yesterday and Lila was occupied with something, and so I had my book out, and I don't remember where I was in the book, but I leaned over to Sam and I was like, you're never going to read this, so I'm going to tell you what my theory is right now, so that if I am right, I get to like claim that I'm right. I wasn't right. I didn't guess the twist. Didn't see that coming at all. So I thought that was so good. I gave it a 4.5, I think, on those other on the apps that I could give half stars. So if you like a thriller, I have said this before, I save 5 stars for really special. I think everybody needs to read these books, but so 4.5, especially for fiction, really, really good in my book. So those are the 5 fiction books, 4 I finished, 1 I didn't, that I wanted to share. And now I'm going to pack up my stuff and go get to work. Hey, it's Thursday. I completely forgot I was vlogging, like that I had switched to weekly vlogs, which doesn't make any sense because it's not like I ended yesterday's vlog. Anyway, I went to grab the camera to record with my sister and was like, oh, I was totally in the middle of a vlog. So I will fill you in on what happened tomorrow. And I promise to vlog a little bit more tomorrow. Y'all know I do tend to vlog more the days that Lila's not here. When she's at daycare, she's with my mom. Like when she's around, like I spent the whole day with her except for her nap. And that I worked during her nap. So, but I was gonna vlog about something. I literally actually even have it on my planner for today to vlog about what I worked on during her nap, but I didn't. So I will just have to do all that tomorrow. My plan tomorrow is not to work during her nap, was to do a couple things around the house, but we will chat tomorrow. Off to record with my sister. Hello, it is Friday. Before I put the camera on the tripod and talk about, I have like a laundry list of things to talk to you about. I wanted to show this thing that I finally opened up. I bought this little souvenir tree in Argentina. It was, oh, sorry, I'm like out of breath because I just ran down to the basement to get the camera. It was still down there from when I recorded with my sister last night. So we went to, God, did I ever like really recap my trip to Argentina? I guess I did on the podcast with my sister, but I don't know if I ever really did in like a vlog. So part of the trip was in Buenos Aires, and then the other part was up in Iguazu Falls. And when we were up there, we visited this, I don't even know what to call it. It was kind of just like a tourist exhibit to teach you about the area and to teach you about the indigenous people who live there and what their daily life looks like and all the different flora and fauna that are in the park that we were going to the next day. And they had a little gift shop. And one of the things they had in the gift shop was a ton of stuff made of these different stones that are found in the national park in Iguazu Falls. And I just loved this all pink one. They had lots of different sizes, and Sam was like, do you want to get a bigger one? But they didn't have an all pink one and a bigger one. And frankly, I think it's the perfect size. I feel like it fits perfectly on my desk. It adds something that reminds me of a place that is special, a trip that was special, travel, like that sense of wonder and awe. On my desk, I feel like that's just really important to me. And it's all pink, and I think it's just the perfect size. So I actually love it. And I truthfully had forgotten where it was. My unpacking and then like repacking for Houston has just been kind of chaos here. And so I was looking for something I started kind of laying stuff out for my future sister-in-law's bachelorette party, and I found it. So I brought it out, and I wanted to share it with you, and I just absolutely love it. Okay, like I said, I have a laundry list of things to chat about. I have a list down here next to me, but I'm going to start by multitasking and putting on my makeup while I talk to you about some of them. I anticipate that this is going to take me longer. It does not take me long to do my makeup. I did a get ready with me back during Vlogmas. My products are the same, y'all. I mean, maybe I've tweaked some of them. I don't even know. But if you're interested, I could do an actual where I like talk through the products in a future vlog. Let me know in the comments. But this is just me multitasking. So first, let's talk about yesterday, Thursday. I think I've mentioned this before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but in my dream world, I am getting all the work I need to get done on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday so that I can just enjoy Thursday and Friday with my daughter, as well as getting household stuff done during if she's like occupied with a toy or washing naps, and not having to worry about work stuff and not feeling like, oh, I need to do this one thing for work. Like yesterday during her nap, I spent the entire nap working, which is not my goal. But the reason I tell you this is because that includes starting to do some like fun, different things in that morning time slot on a Thursday before her nap. And instead of just like hanging out at home. But when I'm trying to if I know I'm spending my nap on work and then I have household stuff I need to do, sometimes it has ended up where I will do those things like with her here on Thursday mornings, and I don't want to do that. I want to go do fun things. Yesterday, we went and did a fun thing, and it was really awesome. So this was actually an activity that I had tried to do weeks ago and talked about in a vlog. We were trying to go with a friend, and then Lila ended up getting sick. So here in Chicago, we have a nature museum, is what it's called. And on Thursdays, it is free for Illinois residents. And I have never been, and I have been told that there are areas that are specifically really good for kids, like young kids. They're not wrong. Now, also, I think free days also coincide with field trip day. So there were a lot of field trips there yesterday. And so it was a little bit crowded. And the play areas that they have, which are fantastic, one of them, well, let me take this back. They have 2 play areas. I don't know why you need all these details unless you live in Chicago, but there's 2 play areas. One, they don't let field trip kids in. And so that was nice. It's a little bit smaller, but Lila had a lot of fun, was able to play. And then there's another one, and it says 7 and under. Now, I don't know if some of these kids were 7 or not, but regardless, they were a little bit rambunctious, and I felt like my little peanut was gonna get toppled. But they had so many other cool exhibits. There was like a butterfly, oops, I'm dropping things. A butterfly room with all these beautiful, beautiful butterflies, and Lila thought it was so cool. She also really was into the flowers in the butterfly exhibit. It was so cool. And then they also have different like parts of nature and like what like wildlife would live there. So they have like a forest section, and they have like a marsh section. And the marsh section, some of it was like the forest section, it was like fake. Like it was like what's the big cat that lives in the forest? A panther, and it was like set up. And no, the panther's in the jungle. I don't know which one it was, y'all. It doesn't matter. Lila loved looking. They were obviously fake, like stuffed. I don't know if they were stuffed, like real stuffed. I've always wondered that. Like at the Museum of Natural History in New York, are those like real bears that are stuffed, or is that like a replica? I don't know. But in the marsh section, they had real animals. And they had turtles. They were so cute. And they had frogs. They were so cute. And they had snakes, and they were not cute. I have a big snake phobia, so I wanted nothing to do with the snakes. And then there was a point in the day where they were doing like an animal experience, and they brought a snake out. I was like, Mom, I don't want to see this. And she's like, well, Lila and I will watch them. Apparently my daughter touched a snake yesterday, y'all. It's not for me. I'll pop up a bunch of the pictures I took here. Mostly they were just cute pictures of Lila, not of like the actual things at the museum, but it was absolutely great. And then they had 2 outdoor spaces that we didn't end up going to because it was a little bit on the chillier side yesterday, so we didn't bother with the outdoor spaces. But we will definitely be back. Like that is definitely something I can see us doing on Thursdays. We had a lot of fun. And then after her nap, my mom and sister came over and we like kind of cleaned through Lila's closet. We swapped, she's kind of in between sizes right now. So I left some stuff of the 12 to 18 months. She is almost 20 months at this point, but she's always kind of been like slightly, like she's been pretty true to size, but it also depends on the clothes and the brand and whatever. But I pulled out all the 18 to 24 month stuff and put it in the closet. I'm in denial, y'all. I'm in denial that she's that big. So that's what we did. And then we had dinner and then Lila went to bed. My sister and I recorded our podcast and now here we are. This morning we went to swim class. Happy to be home and back to our swim class on Fridays, which was really nice. And then my mom and I swung by Target because we needed a couple like random things that only a Target would have all of these things. Like I needed a small hairbrush for Lila. We needed a new spatula and one like food perishable item. So we snuck into Target and grabbed a couple things. And now Lila is down for her nap. Well, she's been down for her nap for a while. I took the first half of her nap to like clean and tidy up and finish the book that I want to talk about. I literally had to finish it today. The library is taking it back at 5 p.m. today. So I had to power through that book, but it was fine. I powered through more earlier this week to make sure I would get through it. Today I had like just the right amount of book left to tidy up while she napped. So the book I just finished is called Effortless, and it is by the author of Essentialism. If you were watching the live chats when I was doing book reviews as part of the live, I loved Essentialism. I thought it was a fantastic book. I don't know if I give it 5 stars. If I didn't, I contemplated it. I highly recommend it for everybody thinking about being like the essential things from both a business and a personal standpoint. I think is beneficial. I listened to it on audio from the library, and at Christmas when my mom was trying to come up with gift ideas for Sam, one of the things Sam asked for was like business nonfiction books. And my mom was like, do you have any book recommendations? And I was like, yeah, this one. It's called Essentialism. It's great. So we could have a physical copy in our house. I mean, I do think Sam should read it, but anywho, I had high hopes for this book because it was the same author. And it was good, but it was not great. Like, I think on the apps that are, I haven't closed it out yet, but the apps that are give me half stars, I think I'm gonna give it 3.5. I think on Goodreads, I may give it a 3. I think there was a lot of like great little takeaways, but there was nothing groundbreaking that I had never heard before. Now, that said, I do consume a lot of personal development content, right? I listen to a lot of podcasts, I read a lot of books. So maybe I've heard it before because I have consumed a lot. And so maybe somebody, if you haven't consumed a lot of personal development books, maybe you would get a lot out of it. But for me, I felt like there was nothing like, oh my gosh. Now, do I think there were some great examples of stuff that I have talked about before? Yes. Like the concept of having like a minimum and a maximum for your goal. He had a great story example that I wrote down that I like want to share with the community. And then there was one other thing I wrote down to share with the community. So that's 2 takeaways from the whole book. So to me, that says like, it wasn't that great in my eyes. Now, it doesn't mean that other people won't totally benefit from it. I love the concept of we need to make life easier and stop trying to make things so hard and complicated. Like the concept of making things effortless. I love that. And I love the principle. I just don't know if I had any major takeaways from the book that is going to like change how I do things on a regular basis, if that makes sense. So again, pretty good. Not the best thing I've ever read, but glad that I read it. I waited a long time for that from the library. So what is next on the docket? I am very close to getting another autobiography from the library. So I hope that comes through soon. That wasn't on my original list to read for the year, but it released. And so I put it on hold. And then I don't actually know if I have any other nonfiction books on hold at the library. I think I'm gonna have to buy the rest of the ones. Yeah, all my other holds are fiction. So that is the end of my library streak for nonfiction for the year. Okay, let me power through my eye makeup and then we'll sit and chat about the last couple things. Okay, my makeup is done. I'm going to see a show with a friend tonight. I'm not obviously wearing this. I'm gonna wear some sort of dress. We'll see if I end up doing my hair. My hair's still wet right now. I pulled it back so you didn't have to see my like wet, gross hair. Cause from swim, I couldn't shower until Lyle went down for a nap. So it may dry. I've talked about this saga before, how my hair takes forever to dry. It is possible that it dries where I could do it before I leave, but we're having dinner before our show, and like the time Sam is scheduled to be done with work and the time I have to leave for my dinner are the same time. So I basically just have to be ready to go. And I've never like done my hair while Lila's around. I mean, I could totally do it safely. So we'll see. We'll see if I end up doing my hair or if I just pull it back. I may end up doing that. So it's supposed to rain tonight. It's supposed to be probably like kind of humid and muggy. It got really warm here today. So I'm like, I may not bother with my hair. I don't think my friend is gonna care if my hair is in a slick back something instead of done. Okay, I'm rambling and that is not what I'm supposed to be rambling about. Okay, so I have a handful of things to tell you about. The first one is I'm so excited. These are all about to go in the mailbox. By the time this vlog goes up, I'm anticipating that these have gotten to their recipients, so it's not really a surprise, but these are attendees of our event this summer, which I'm so excited about. These are so far only the people that have finished the survey and submitted their address, so it's not everybody going. But I thought it would be fun to quickly like skim through where everyone is traveling from. There are a handful of people that live here around Chicago or like in the suburbs, and then there are people that live like in the Midwest that are driving in from like Indiana, Michigan, etc. And then there's a handful of people that are flying in, which I think is just absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited to hang out and just spend a fantastic weekend in the summer in the city. So we have Marshall, Michigan, Newton, Kansas, Orange Park, Florida, Villa Park, Illinois, that's a suburb, Elk Grove, California, Fairmount, Indiana, Naperville, Illinois, that's a suburb, Bellevue, Nebraska, Sarasota, Florida. This community member is so sweet. She lives nearby where my grandparents live down there and always checks in on them when there's something going on, which is just so sweet. Tamarack, Florida. There's a lot of Florida friends. Hopefully y'all like can link up together. Eastleigh, South Carolina. Did I say that right? Chicago, Frisco, Texas. I'm totally gonna mispronounce this. Muskegon, Michigan. Columbus, Indiana, another Chicago, and Woodbridge, Virginia. So fun. I'm excited to pop these in the mail. There are still tickets available if you're interested in spending the weekend with us in Chicago. There is a bunch of events. Only one of the events is ticketed. The rest of them, you can just decide if you want to come or go. I know, because some people that are just driving in, I'm like, they don't want to like stay for karaoke and then try to get back. But at the same time, if people are coming, the rest of them are, I mean, they're all optional, right? Like the rest of them doesn't go with the ticket. It wasn't factored in the price of the ticket. So don't feel bad if you're like only coming for the event, the party, but I'm so excited. I started planning the goodie bags this week. Actually, there's something behind me on the bed that you can't see that is going in the goodie bags. It's something that the hint I'll give you is something that I'm making. And so I want to get started on them like sooner rather than later. So yeah, if you're interested, for more details or you have any questions, let me know. I also this week, one of the things I did work-wise was finally get up all of the recommendations for Chicago. So I have neighborhood recommendations, hotel recommendations, and then things to do. The only section I haven't finished yet is bars and restaurants because in my mind, those are less time sensitive, right? Like picking where you're gonna stay and getting that booked. Totally understand we need to, like, you wanna check that off. And then even planning out some of the bigger ticket stuff, like if you're gonna go to the top of one of the buildings or you're gonna go on the architecture cruise or whatever. So I put all those recommendations in, but I haven't done bars and restaurants. I need my sister's help for that. But I'm excited to have all that put together for everyone coming to be able to make some decisions. And it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be such a fun weekend. Okay. The other work-related thing I wanted to tell you about, I was trying to see if I had anything close by to actually, oh, you know what I have? I have a binder. Okay, right now, all of the Plan with Laken merch is on super sale. By the time this video goes up, like I will probably have dropped the price 2 more times. I cut it all, like I put it all on sale and then we went out of town and that happened. This week, this past Tuesday, I cut it again. And my plan is just to keep cutting it and cutting. Like, I mean, at this point, like the prices have gone below what I actually paid for the items, which is not ideal, but right now I'm just trying to get them out the door so I can pivot to a different merch setup. So all of the Plan with Laken merch is on sale, including this binder, which I love. Maybe I should have them send me another one of these before I close it out. I did have, when I messaged the team over there and was like, hey, I want to make sure all the counts are accurate before I announce the sale. And then I also want you to send me some stuff for the summer event. And then as well, some like stuff I just want to have before we let it go. And I already got all that. So I probably don't need to have them send me another one of these binders. Like, do I really need more than one? Maybe. But anyway, I'm really excited. I also, one of the things I did while we were in Texas, because when I was trying to work down there, it was tough. Like Lila was around a lot of the times, and that can be hit or miss at home when she has all of her toys, like whether I can actually work while she's awake, let alone when we were at my in-laws and it's minimal toys. Like they have some stuff and then we pack some stuff, but it's not like all of her toys, right? And so I tried to do work tasks that were a little bit less thinking and maybe just a little bit more like busy. And one of those things was working on the designs for the new merch setup. So I did a lot of that while I was in Texas. I'm waiting for samples to get to me now so that I can make some decisions. And then once the samples get here, again, I'm hoping the timing works out that like all the other merch stuff is sold out and I can launch all the new stuff like at the same time. But we'll see. We'll see how that ends up working out. Okay, I'm looking at my list. That is it. That is all that I had to share with you. I know this ended up being a super chatty, not as much like, let me show you stuff vlog. I apologize. I think just, I wasn't actually planning to vlog this week. When we were just going to Houston for Passover, I was planning to vlog last week, like the week leading up, because we weren't leaving till Thursday, and I was gonna vlog leading up to our trip. And then I was gonna take this week off now because we ended up being down there early and whatnot. I was like, no, I need to vlog this week in order to have a video. So I knew it probably wasn't gonna be all that exciting, but I did it anyway. Next week is hopefully gonna be a lot more exciting. And then as I start to prep, I'll show you like my outfits and stuff for my future sister-in-law's bachelorette party. But we have a busy weekend and a busy next week. And I'm busy the next weekend. We have a lot going on. Sam and I actually, one of my goals, if you watch my goals video for April, by the time this vlog goes up, no, the goals video will be the next one. One of my goals was to pick a date for our housewarming party. And we do not have dates available till June. Like there's just not weekends between things we've already committed to. We have my future sister-in-law's bachelorette. Sam has the bachelor party. We have Mother's Day, Memorial Day weekend, which is also my sister's birthday, and also a wedding that Sam is going to. And then we have one weekend in between there that Sam might be out of town also. And then the wedding is June 7th. And so like, it's a lot going on. Okay, I need to remember to put it in next week's vlog because I'm not going downstairs right this second. Because my next task, Lila, I've probably got 25 minutes before she wakes up. And I need to get next week all planned out. That's my plan for right now. We got Lila's shoes for the wedding. They are so freaking cute, y'all. They're in a small and white with a little bow on them. I'm obsessed. She is gonna be the cutest little flower girl you ever saw. I'm so pumped. Okay, I'm gonna end this vlog here. If you watched all the way to the end, comment below with like the envelope emoji. Because I think there's a little envelope emoji for the happy mail that's about to hop in the mail for all these people. And that is gonna be it. If you like this vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Let me say that again.